In Kigali, President Tinubu makes case for commodity platform to enhance intra-Africa trade amongst nations of the continent. In politics, PDP denies alliance with APM disowns Ibadan political gathering. Our discussion will be on opposition politics and the road to 2027. Our guest on the interview segment will put some issues into perspective. Meanwhile, APC has put forward for 24 hours its House of Representatives primary to Saturday. Says other events remain as earlier scheduled. We have these and other stories on our lineup. I'm Fisayo Ogunfui. This is Political Update. Welcome. President Tinubu has called for deliberate efforts by African leaders to form a common front and create commodity platform to enhance intra-Africa trade amongst nations of the continent. President Tinubu spoke on the presidential panel of the ongoing Africa CEO Forum in Kigali under the theme Sovereign Test: Can Africa Turn the Continental Alliances into Assets? The president also had the stage to highlight the reforms of his administration so far.
A risk taker like a Dangote refinery must be encouraged by the government and power. What I did, support him, gave him free trade zone license, support him in the effort to source the crude that is necessary. And today he is the exporter, net exporter of both the PMS, aviation fuel, and other commodities. Yeah. No one can take metal out of Nigeria without adding value. No one. Gone are the days where you can excavate the dust, all the minerals, and go. No. Look around the entire continent. 54 countries. There's none of us without a particular commodity available in the country or the other. Why not start an exchange commodity platform where we can trade with one another?
To politics now. Yesterday, Governor Seyi Makinde declared his intention to run as president under the APM. He says it's a PDP faction, of course, with the APM Grand Alliance. Our own Green Sayalike was there. Let's take that report.
There is only one PDP today. INEC has been here, has verified the current NWC.
This is a lone agenda media briefing by the PDP leadership. National Publicity Secretary Jungudu Haruna Mohammed explained that the party is not part of any coalition, agreement or arrangement with the Allied People's Movement or any other political group.
Any person or group claiming to be acting on behalf of the PDP in connection with this event is doing so without the knowledge, approval, consent or authority of the party.
PDP emphasized that what is being presented to Nigerians as a political alliance is nothing more than another desperate attempt to mislead the party members and supporters. PDP assured all aspirants, party faithful, stakeholders and Nigerians that the PDP remains strong, united and fully prepared to participate in the 2027 general election without any legal or political impediments. Timothy Yusuf.
And the event being referred to there, that PDP meeting, was the APM PDP rally in Ibadan. Let's take in that conversation and then we'll come back.
Tagged the birth of Reset Nigerian movement, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and the Allied People's Movement, APM, forged a strategic alliance aimed at redefining the party's influence ahead of the 2027 elections. The rally was an opportunity for political gladiators to show their strength as the Oyo State Governor declared his intention in the 2027 elections.
Time to engage as citizens and not spectators. We must engage, we must participate and the outcome will be guaranteed.
Earlier, the political accord was formally sealed as leaders of the PDP and APM signed a memorandum of understanding to form the new political alliance at the PDP Southwest Zonal Secretariat at Dagondo House, Ibadan. Grace Ayonleke, NTA News.
As we earlier indicated, it's a Sheyi Makinde-led faction of the PDP and earlier the Abraman-led faction denouncing that gathering in Ibadan. Still talking about the PDP, the People's Democratic Party has screened its presidential and governorship aspirants ahead of the 2027 general election. The exercise held at the party's National Secretariat Annex, the Legacy House in Abuja.
The PDP Presidential Screening Committee is chaired by former Abia State Governor Okeze Ikpeazu, while former Kaduna State Governor Senator Ahmed Makarfi takes charge of the screening of governorship aspirants.
We are proud to say that we have concluded the assignment you gave to us, and the report is contained in this file.
To be very honest with you, I'm not one of those persons who, because you are in the opposition, you will condemn everything the president has done.
Aspirants appeared before panels to defend their qualifications and credentials, political experience and agenda for 2027.
Government House will have farm, the governor will have farm, president will have farm, everybody will have farm. To encourage the local peasant farmers that the way forward for food sustenance is to go back to the farm. Operation Feed Abia.
Yeah, you can build infrastructure, you can build roads, but what industries are you empowering at the middle tier?
The commitment of our people in Nasarawa State is intact. The people are more resolved and committed.
And it is important for the younger generation to come on board so that they can make a change.
National Assembly and State Assembly aspirants are screened in their respective states. Primaries are scheduled for May 17 to 18, 2026 for presidential, May 25, 2026 for governorship.
As it is a custom on the NTA, we take every political party to give them an opportunity to also, speak to Nigerians. The Democratic Leadership Alliance has held its maiden national convention, positioning itself as a political platform for the youths. Meanwhile, Samuel Meme has emerged as the national chairman of the party.
The Democratic Leadership Alliance, one of the newly registered political parties, has set the stage for youths to participate actively in the 2027 general election. With an ideology of building a Nigeria where youths take their rightful place in politics, the party's maiden convention is dominated by youths from across the country who converged on Abuja. The party says it promises to provide equal opportunities for all, irrespective of gender and status. A female aspirant of the party, Abisayo Akinadeju, advocates for more women representation in politics.
I spent 15 years studying this country. I spent 15 years advocating for a better Nigeria, raising leaders in public schools in different places. Then I realized, for how long are we going to stand behind the scene and say we want change? If we really want the change, then we need to step into the arena.
Women should participate in leadership roles and governance. And of course, I also advocate that women affairs should be left to the women.
Samuel Meme, who was the caretaker chairman of the party, emerged as the newly elected national chairman of the party.
The DLA is not just a political party for elections. It's a political party, for training, for youth entrepreneurship programs. And of course, we are transforming the system by bringing in ideology that befits what Nigeria really needs at this time.
With the successful convention of the party producing members of the National Working Committee, the party says it is ready to hold primaries this month.
We're being joined by the newly minted national chairman of the Democratic Leadership Alliance, DLA, was the caretaker chairman, Samuel Meme, a legal practitioner by profession. Thank you for joining us on Political Update.
Thank you very much.
We saw you there, we're seeing you here. What is different with the DLE? We're seeing new parties coming. Some have said it's almost like a 4-year festival. But in your case, you spoke about the issue of reaching out to the youth. Tell us a bit about the party and what its programs are like as far as, as Nigerians look at the 2027 polls and even off-season elections in Osun and Ekiti State.
Okay, thank you so much for having me once again. Thank you, viewers. Although I saw in the reports I was the caretaker chairperson, I wasn't the caretaker, I was the pro tem chairman.
Pro tem chairman,
yeah, from the registration of the party. So we had our convention, and then I became the substantive chairman by the reason of our convention. Well, just like you rightly said, INEC, of course, usually conducts this registration of political parties, from time to time, which is a continuous exercise. And the DLA were lucky and the product of our hard work, and we got registered on the 5th of February this year, being the only party that made a requirement of law out of 171 applications.
What do you mean the only party? I thought two parties were registered.
No, one party was properly registered and made the requirement of law, which is the DLE, and then we have the NDC, which came in by court order. And
yes,
was also registered, yes.
But tell us about, first of all, how you made that, and secondly, a lot of people have said the small, not so to speak, smaller parties are waiting for those who are aggrieved in the bigger parties to come and pick tickets. But I saw in your discussion with our reporter that you are focusing mainly on the youths.
Yeah, even before we became political party, we have existed for 2 years as an association, and we have been united. We have carried out trainings within the members of the party, and interestingly, we have almost about 43 of our members currently undergoing different trainings, science behind manufacturing programs outside the country, and we have other ones that are also running the programs here. Of course,
How did that come about? Is it sponsored by the party?
Yes, sponsored by the party. It's sponsored by the party and members of the party. As at that time, as an association, and we have more people who will be leaving towards the end of this month, in the month of May. For what you said, for new political party, of course, we were registered at the time where we already at the extreme end of the decision about going into the 2027 election, and we have very short period of time to prepare ahead of time. But of course, as a political party, you don't have the right to reject Nigerians who want to come into the platform to contest, whether they were being rejected in their former political party. But what is necessary and important is that when they are coming to the platform, they must observe the constitution and obey the rules and regulations set by the party.
I saw a young woman, one of the people aspiring to be president in your party, and we were talking about focusing more on youth empowerment and all that. And then I'm interested in what really made INEC to consider you as the only political party to have met all the criteria.
I think if you look at the name, the Democratic Leadership Alliance, leadership, we believe that without leadership in Nigeria, without having the right procedures of recruiting leadership, we can never get it right. So when you look at the ideology of the party, and you will understand why we're able to, we're able to skate through the hurdles of registering the political party. The founding members of the party, 98% of the founding members of the party are less than the age of 30. And that is to say that the young people are beginning to take their destiny into their own hands. And what we decided to do as an association at that time was to come together, understanding the common problem, fixing the Nigerian youths and facing Nigerians generally. And we begin to understand that if you understand the Nigerian system now, you find out that many Nigerians are not even interested in voting, let alone becoming members of political party. So what we begin to do is to organize programs, trainings within the party, so that members of the party will begin to have sense of belongings, why they should become members of the political party. So it's not just becoming a member of political party because for political reasons. It's good for political reasons, but having a community within the community of Nigeria where we begin to train ourselves, begin to engage in meaningful productivity, enterprise, business enterprise, and then we'll grow to the level where we now begin to take charge into the governance of this country.
You mentioned business. We are at the business end of the election cycle now. Primaries in some political parties. Are there fears, for instance, from you and your members that some will call big money bags in politics could come and hijack your party, especially if they don't get their way in the so-called bigger parties?
No, it will be very difficult. For instance, our constitution is very clear that before you can lead in any aspect, if you look at the members of the National Working Committee that was elected yesterday, just 10 persons that was elected yesterday, that is to show that many persons who would have wanted to come into the National Working Committee are not yet qualified to come in, because there are criteria. You must first undergo leadership program established by the party. It's a 3-month program, and unfortunately we didn't have the time to finish all the program, but more people will come in. If from the ward level to the local government level to the state level to the zonal level, across board, you must first be taught to the art of leadership, certified, before you can now begin to aspire into the leadership position of the party. And if you are also an aspirant that want to contest under the platform of the party, you must first undergo the lectures, the program established by the party to understand the ideology, because the DLA, of course, is the first ideologically rooted political party in Nigeria.
All right, so ideology in terms of leadership is the DNA of the DLA. Yeah. Let's move forward very quickly. Former Vice President, Atiku Abubakar, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and former Governor of Rivers State, ex-Minister of Transportation, Chibuke Rotimi Amechi, have submitted their expression of interest and nomination forms for presidential ticket of the African Democratic Congress ADC in Abuja ahead of the 2027 general elections.
The ADC National Secretariat witnessed a large gathering of party members and supporters in solidarity with former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. After the exercise, the former Vice President, however, declined comments. The former Minister of Transportation and ex-Governor of Rivers State, Chibuike Rotimi Amechi, similarly submitted his presidential expression of interest and nomination forms at the National Secretariat of the African Democratic Congress in Abuja, ahead of the 2027 presidential election.
We know our people very well, and our people knows us, and we know what our people want.
Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Right, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar there, and former Minister of Transportation, as well as, of course, was also former Governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi. So we'll be keeping an eye on ADC as well, as far as their primaries are concerned. The All Progressives Congress APC says it has shifted the House of Representatives primary election for 2027 general election to Saturday, 16th of May 2026, just by 24 hours. A statement by the National Publicity Secretary of the party, Felix Moha, says the adjustment affects only the House of Representatives primaries, while dates for the other elections remain unchanged. The updated schedule for the APC primaries is now as follows. That is, the House of Representatives is Saturday, the 16th of May, Senate Monday, the 18th of May 2026, State House of Assembly Wednesday, the 20th of May 2026, Governorship Thursday, the 21st of May 2026, and Presidential Saturday, 23rd May 2026. We'll be back. We're back now with DLA as we wrap up very quickly. Do you expect in this short time for your members to throw their hat in the ring in all the states of the Federation and different tiers of government in the 2027 elections?
Absolutely. So far, we've had we've had over more than 60% of state governorship aspirants across board, and we believe remaining days before the primaries will be covering the 36 states of the Federation, and we've had a lot of aspirants.
How will Nigerians trust, having not had time to really peruse your credentials and perhaps, are you taking advantage of perhaps social media, or what are you doing to penetrate? Because ideology is one thing. Getting that ideology into the public domain is another thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, as it stands now, the DLA is the only political party with the highest level of integrity in Nigeria today. And we have enough time, to sensitize Nigerians, to tell Nigerians more about our programs. Between now and the 2027 elections, there's still enough time for us to engage Nigerians. What is most important right now is for us to have credible candidates, to represent the party at the poll. Then when we begin campaign, will let Nigerians know the kind of people we have, to represent Nigerians across board, including from the presidency and down to the houses of assembly.
All right, well, thank you very much, National Chairman. I used to be pro tem, but now National Chairman of the DLA. Of course, we also know that several other parties are going through their own, primaries now. Is there any thought of a merger?
No. There's no thought of merger. This is our first outing, and if there is any merger, then it should be. When you talk about merger, you also need to look at the credibility of the platforms. If there are platforms who want to merge with the DLA, we would appreciate them. But we are not going to merge with any platform. All
right, we've been speaking with Samuel Meme, National Chairman, Democratic Leadership Alliance, DLA. And as we said on the program, all political parties, all registered political parties have the opportunity of talking to the Nigerian Television Authority. Will give you a platform. No party is bigger than the other. Come and express your views to Nigerians and put your credentials on the table. It is for Nigerians to choose. That has been Political Update for today. We'll be back again on Tuesday. Between now and then, do play your politics for the greater good and keep it logged on the Nigerian Television Authority for news, reviews, previews, and interviews. Bye-bye now.